Hi and welcome everyone. My name is Steve. I'm the principal agent with U.S. Benefit Advisors. And I'm here today to share a little bit about what I've learned about our healthcare industry and what it means for you and your affordability for health insurance as a small business entrepreneur. Let's dig right into it. In 2017, the Brookings Institute, in partnership with the Hamilton Project, performed a study of our U.S. healthcare system and really found some interesting information that I believe explains a lot about what has happened in the past decade with our industry. So first, let me start off with the size of the industry. The U.S. healthcare system accounts for 11% of employment in the U.S. And the government spend is 24% of its entire budget is spent on medical programs and our healthcare industry. Overall, the U.S. healthcare industry accounts for 18% of the GDP in the U.S. So roughly 1 in 10 of us work in the healthcare industry. 25 cents of almost every dollar that the U.S. government spends is spent on the healthcare industry, and it accounts for 18% of our GDP. Ladies and gentlemen, our U.S. healthcare system is simply too big to fail. And here's why this is important. When we have parts of our economy that are too big to fail, we know that the government will take the steps to make sure they don't. And here's what the report came out with. The distribution of health expenditures in the U.S. population showed that 5% of the U.S. population accounted for 50% of all the healthcare expenditures. Furthermore, 1% of our population accounted for 22%. And those individuals in those two groups, on average, had an average spend each year of $116,000 to $37,000 in healthcare expenditures. On the other side of our population, 50%, half of our population, only accounted for 3% of the entire healthcare expenditures. And on average, they only spent $300. What does this mean for your health insurance and what your options are? So here is how I like to explain what this means for you. Through your insurance company for your car, you have auto insurance, and those companies have to insure the good drivers with the bad drivers. If they only insured the bad drivers, they couldn't sustain business because of the amount of the claim losses that they would have from those bad drivers. They have to have good drivers paying premiums into the same system as the bad drivers. And this is what's happened to our healthcare industry. 5% are driving 50% of the expenditures. 50% are driving 3% of the expenditures. The Affordable Care Act forced individuals into plans for the benefit of the insurance companies. When it was passed, 92% of our population were in these plans. Things have changed, and the political environment has opened the plan back up, but it's still in existence, but just without enforcement. But here's what this means for us. When those plans were put into place, and they're still basically the standards that are out there now, individuals were paying high premiums for high deductible plans. Typically, those high deductible plans were anywhere from $5,000 to $6,000, $7,000, or even more. Well, the Brookings Institute did an interesting analysis as well on what is the real distribution of out-of-pocket healthcare expenditures. And they found that 1 in 50 people, 2%, spend more than $5,000. 1 in 200 people spend more than $10,000. But here's the interesting thing. 1 in 7, 14%, spend a big donut, spend $0. So these individuals who were forced into these plans have to pay a high premium for the benefit of someday getting the insurance coverage they want when they spend their deductible of $5,000 or $6,000. And they will never do that. In fact, 1 in 50 only spend more than $5,000. Now you might be thinking, well, Steve, what happens if I have a major medical event? I want that kind of coverage. And I'm here to tell you, you have alternatives that will still cover a major medical event should it ever happen to you. And a lot of people think when that happens, the coverage cost or the medical cost is into the millions. And I'm here to tell you it's not. In 2017, when they did this analysis, 194 people had health insurance claims that exceeded $1 million. Here's the other interesting thing about this industry. The variation of the services, of the drugs, of the hospital stays varies wildly across geographic areas. In the study that they did, they looked at blood tests and C-sections. And I'll just point out a couple. In El Paso, Texas, a blood test could cost you anywhere from a little over $100 to well over $1,000. A C-section in San Francisco, Oakland, Hayward, California area would cost you anywhere from $15,000 to almost $40,000. It's the same procedure. Those variations should not exist. A few years ago, I had a motorcycle accident, and I had to get surgery on my shoulder, arthroscopic surgery on my shoulder, hard to say. And so I went to healthcarebluebook.com. Anybody can go there. You can take a look at procedures, medicines, pretty much anything healthcare related, and it'll essentially give you a blue book or a suggested retail value, if you will, of what those costs should be. To repair my shoulder tendon that was damaged, if I was to do that today, in my area, should cost anywhere from about $4,000 to over $33,000. Healthcarebluebook.com will give you the cash price discount. And here's the power of these innovative companies. They realize that they can equip you to have these cash discount negotiations with your providers, and you're already relatively healthy. You're in that 95%. You're not in the 5%. These companies have totally changed the game for healthcare coverage for us. You know, I was interested to find out what these companies could do for me and my premiums. So if I went with the Blue guys or the United company, I looked it up. A family of 3, myself, my wife, my daughter. Our coverage would be anywhere from $1,200 to $1,300 a month in premiums, and we would still have a deductible of $5,000 to $7,000 depending on the plan. The companies I'm partnering with realize that they can service 95% of the population for the most part, and do so with premium savings of 40%. With the quoted price I got, my premium would be $600 for my family. That's over a 50% savings. And some of these plans have zero deductible, and some have a variation of other deductibles. I would like to be able to talk with you about what your options are. When you see these options, you realize that healthcare can be affordable, and in such a way that you can extend it to your employees that helps you attract and retain motivated employees. I'm making it my mission to help people understand what is messed up about our healthcare industry and what options you have. If you found this video helpful and informative, give it a like, comment down below, tell me what you think. Feel free to share it as well. I'm always available on LinkedIn. Connect with me, and let's talk benefits. Again, my name was Steve with U.S. Benefit Advisors, and here I am with USBA N10. Have a great week, everyone.